Hi, today is Transformation Tuesday, and I promised myself and my coach that I would get my video up. So I'm gonna just try and wing this. I tried rehearsing this in front of the mirror like a ton of times, and I got super sidetracked. And I was like, this story is never gonna get told, and I'm never gonna make this video. So we're just gonna jump right on and go for it and see what happens. I have a story to tell. I've got a lot of stories to tell, but I'm going to have to start with the biggest one that kind of sets the stage for where this whole journey is going. So, any of you that have followed me on Instagram or Facebook, or obviously are my close friends or family, you know that I've had a challenging 10 years, 11 years, um, and I've faced a lot of challenges and really big mountains. And it's been quite a journey. And it was a journey that, I almost didn't make it through a few times, but I have now, and I feel so incredible and so wonderful that I just feel that I need to share this story and, really get the word out there. I'm sure a lot of you also see me post a lot of like mind, body, and spirit sister stuff with my friend Sandra. It's been our mission to want to get the word out of, this other way of approaching life, this mind, body, and spirit balance. And in the struggles that I faced as I started climbing out of that, and I'll take you back to what that is, but as I started climbing out of that, I discovered this whole mind, body, spirit thing. I kind of always thought it was like a little weird and like hokey and, energy, and it just didn't make sense to me. I was raised Catholic and, very strict beliefs. But anyway, when I went on this journey and I got to these really dark places, that's where I found spirituality. I remember at one point telling my mom that I feel like I know Jesus so well, but I don't know God. It had a very hard time for me to conceptualize God and Jesus supposed to be the same person, but they're really not, and all of that. I'm a very visual person, so it's kind of like hard for me to put it all together. And I just never really prayed to God before. I always would pray to Jesus and Mary and Joseph and the saints and everyone that you learn about in CCD. And but I didn't never felt like I knew God. And I know my mom told me that I wasn't ready for that yet. That wasn't there, and it would come when it would come. And I've learned that it came through this experience. It came from me being knocked down and out and just in a really big dark hole to see that God is everywhere. And once I recognized that, I started to seek, and I started to listen, and I started to open my mind to things that I didn't before, that I was very closed-minded to. I just stayed open. And on that journey, I met my friend Sandra, and, she was all about that other stuff. That made a lot of sense to her. And so, we walked the journey together. We both were facing some really challenging things we were overcoming. And again, I will promise that I'll get to that and tell you more details for those of you that don't know. But we went on this journey and we realized that, we had control in it, that there were a lot of challenges we were facing, and there was a lot of new mountains that we had to keep climbing over the process. But we were the person, we were the common denominator. We were in all of the same things. So we kind of really started to think, if we're the common denominator, then like we have control in this story. We have to change, not the circumstances around us. So so that was a really big turning point for me, and that's when I started to really open up. And once I started to open up, I saw all this light from all these places I never saw before. And I really concentrated on my mind and my spirit. I did so much reading and studying and taking classes to just better myself. but I didn't really spend a lot of time on my body. And I will tell you why. So going back to the moment that changed everything for me, it was October 22nd, 2005. I'm going to try to go through this story a little bit quickly right now because I find that when I tell it, I can sometimes get caught up in details, and it just goes over and over and over, and we might just never finish. So I'm going to try to be a little blunt through this, but I'm sure I'll talk to you about it in more detail because I probably still have some healing that I could do from digging into it as well. But anyway, back in 2005, my friend Andrea was in town from Chicago. She was visiting New York City for the first time. We went to the city, and our first stop was St. Patrick's Cathedral. Andrea and I had very strong belief and faith in our Catholic background and upbringing. So it was a no-brainer that I would absolutely bring her to St. Patrick's Cathedral and see how absolutely beautiful it was there. So when we were going there, I was like, you know what? I've got to get to the gift shop. And I know that that doesn't really sound uncharacteristic for me or probably many or every female out there, but like it was different. I was called to the gift shop. I was like, I knew I needed to go to the gift shop, and this is why. So pausing the story, taking a step back for a second, my mother has a saint that she prays to each of her children for. And I didn't learn this till I was in college, and she shared with me that she did this. And I was so taken back, and I thought that was so wonderful and beautiful. And my mom's so awesome. You know, you'll hear about her as well. But she told me that my saint was Saint Joseph, and that any time in my life that I was faced with a challenge or a big decision, or I was taking a big risk, that she would pray to Saint Joseph and she would receive some type of sign, and that's how she knew like it was going to be okay. I was going to be okay. So she didn't share this with me till I was in college. For me, going to college, I'm from Jersey, and I had only lived in Jersey, and then I went to school in New Hampshire, and that was quite a cultural shock for me. And so I really, really struggled adjusting that first semester. So anyway, in that time, my mother shared with me this story, how she, you know, prays to Saint Joseph for me. And at the time, I was dating a boy named Joey, so that provided her comfort that she knew I was okay and everything was going to be okay. And so that's how we started talking about the story. So anyway, what I started to notice in my life is that anytime I would be faced with another challenge or a decision, again, all of those reasons why my mother prayed to Saint Joseph, I wouldn't necessarily pray to Saint Joseph, but I would find, and it was just weird how it would happen. I would either, you know, meet someone named Joseph, like, you know, I mentioned in college, or I would see a street sign or something would say Joe, or I would actually see a St. Joseph's church. I mean, or a statue. It could be anything, a mass card. It would show up some way, and I would know, okay, we're good. We're good. This step is a good step you've taken. Keep going. We're all set here. So taking us back to October 22nd, I had been back in New Jersey. We relocated back for about probably like 10 or 11 months before this, and I hadn't had a St. Joseph sign at all. And it wasn't a smooth transition moving back to New Jersey, and that'll be a story for another time. But things weren't going so great, and I didn't have my St. Joseph sign. And now I was in the city, and I was at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and I was like, I'm freaking buying something St. Joseph. Like, I don't care if he's not going to show me, like, I'm going to go get him. And like, if you know me, I kind of have a problem forcing things. But anyway, I did this. And so I went and got a St. Joseph's keychain. So I actually have the keychain here so I can show you. So I got this keychain. Can you see that? I don't know. Can you see St. Joseph? And then St. Patrick's right there. So anyway, I got this keychain, and immediately when, I should take it off here. Immediately when I got it, I put it right on my ring finger. You know what? I have to take it off because now I need to demonstrate, because it's kind of a little bit important to the story. Well, at least it's important to me. So I get this keychain, and I just knew that I needed to hold this keychain. I needed to be like, I couldn't wear the keychain, and I didn't have my car because it was valeted in the garage. So I put the keychain on this ring here, and I held it like this all night. So Andrew and I, after we went to St. Patrick's, we went to, I should have known the whole night was going to go downhill from there. This was the time The Apprentice was really big, and so we went to whatever Trump Tower where, they have the boardroom or something like that. So we went up there and we had a couple drinks, and I held on to this all night while I was there. And I made some really big decisions, and I was going to make some changes. And so it provided me comfort to hold this and have St. Joseph in my hand. So we were going to go to dinner. We were going to BLT Steak, which was right up 57th Street across Park Ave. And we went outside, and it was raining, so we got an umbrella. We were sharing an umbrella, walking arm in arm. We walked up 57th Street. The restaurant was right across Park, and I just remember waiting there at the light, and we couldn't go right away. And then the light turned, and we had our walk signal, and we started going. And that's all that I remember. I remember coming to, and it was raining, and I was wet, and my head was fucking killing me. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try. I want to try not to curse, but I'm not gonna try not to curse. I'm just gonna try to be more conscious of it. But like I dropped the F-bomb a lot. I'm sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. But anyway, I'm gonna try not to feel bad about it, and I'm just gonna try to be more conscious of it. So anyway, my head really hurt. I didn't know what happened. I didn't open my eyes. I heard a lot of screaming and yelling, and then I could tell there were people gathering around me, and I heard somebody ask Andrea, who was losing her mind. She's never been in New York City before, and she had to call 911 and get help. She didn't know where she was. I can't I could still hear the fear in her voice when she was screaming on the phone and trying to figure out what to do. And anyway, these people asked her, is it okay if we pray over her? Meaning me, on the floor, on the street in the middle of Park Ave and 57th Street in New York City. And it's raining, and my eyes are closed. I'm in so much pain. I have no idea what happened. I don't even realize that I was hit by a car at this point in time. They just started praying over me. I don't know if they played the Our Father or the Hail Mary, but I was laying in the middle of New York City is 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and it was raining, and my eyes were closed. I was in so much pain, and there were a group of people praying over me. I did not think I was coming out of this day. I thought this was it. I didn't know what was happening, but this was my end. And I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid at all. I remember thinking this can't be good. If they're praying over me, things are not looking so good right now. And I know when first responders came, I still was cracking jokes and whatnot. I wasn't afraid, but I really did think it was over. And so when the first responders were working on me, they're like, "What's in your hand?" And I was like, "I have no idea what's in my hand. I have no idea." I mean, to take you back to the accident, again, I don't know what happened, but based on my injuries, this is kind of what the doctors put together, that I was hit from the side. First of all, how Andrea was not hit by this, because I really felt like she was on that side where the car came, but she was fine. So, I mean, by the grace of God, some angels definitely stepped in and helped us this night for sure. But it appeared I got hit at the waist, and I was somewhat tossed in the air because I lost my shoes and my pocketbook and the umbrella, obviously. And I landed on my head first. So I cracked my head open, and I cracked my collarbone in half, and it shattered on both ends. And I had tons of sprains and pinched nerves and disc bulges throughout my neck and my back. So the way they saw the severity and of intensity, I should say, of those injuries, they imagined that I was tossed somehow and I landed on my head and then kind of, came down from there. And I was hit by a taxi that was turning onto Park Ave from 57th, and no one saw one another. This was not a crazy person that was speeding or being careless. It was dark, it was rainy, and this just was the path. Honestly, I hold no ill will towards this man, and anything that I had to go through from that. But anyway, fast forwarding through the night, um, they noticed that I had this. Through all of that, I still had the St. Joseph keychain in my hand, and so the guy let me keep it, and he said, hold on to it. They'll take it away from you when you get in the hospital because they're gonna need it off when they do whatever they're gonna do to you. But hold on to this. This is something important to you right now, and it made it through this, so you should hold on to this. So I have never let go of this. I keep this on my keychain. It's been on my key ring for 11 years now. And I don't even know why I'm like totally sidetracking about this keychain right now. But anyway, trying to get back to the story. So yeah, the accident physically effed me up. I was in a tremendous amount of pain after that. Painkillers don't really work for me, so I didn't really have any relief. And I was at the doctors every single day, multiple doctors in and out of the city, Jersey, the Bronx, everywhere, Long Island. I mean, I saw every doctor imaginable. It was a really terrible, terrible, terrible time in my life. And I would leave for these doctor appointments, and my son was he was going to be turning 5 in a couple weeks at this time, and he would like run out the door and he'd be like, "Mommy, don't die," and like, I just can't believe that was, his reality. But anyway, so it was hard, and though I suffered from a lot of physical pain for years, with very little relief, what really sent me down the rabbit hole was all of the emotional pain that I experienced from everything. So I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, severe anxiety and depression, and traumatic brain injury. And I went to a psychologist for a year, on top of all the physical doctors I saw. And after a year, things weren't that better. So collectively, a group of people decided, and I did agree to this apprehensively, to go on medication. And that's where everything changed for me. So I started on Xanax and Lexapro, and they did wonders for me in the beginning. Seriously, like they changed it. I felt like myself again. I'd been lost for so long at this point in time, been a whole year of this, and nothing was better, and I didn't know who I was, and this medication, it took a lot of that away. And so it was great in the beginning, except for the fact that I put 35 pounds on in the first 3 months from just those two medications. They worked amazing in the beginning, and then they didn't work. And so very, very quickly, my dosages started to increase with these medications. And the approach that was taken for me the next 7 years, 6, 7 years, was just more and more and more and more medication and higher dosages and different combinations. And I was just like a walking pharmaceutical lab of experimenting. And we never like took time to try to find different solutions. the solution was always, let's come up with another diagnosis and put another med on top of it to try and make it go away. So aside from actually gaining more weight from more and more medication, myself, I I just feel like I didn't really exist. Like I was just in a haze for so long. And so I turned to food and I turned to alcohol. And in the next 2 years, I gained another 45 pounds. And I've never struggled with weight before in my life. I was a multi sport athlete from grammar school through college. I didn't have to ever worry about staying active or working out because I just didn't stop. I was always doing 100 different active things. I was a very competitive person. So here I am, you know, an emotional freaking mess. I'm zonked out on all these different pharmas, and I am 80 pounds heavier than I was before this started. Um, I couldn't even look at myself, and I definitely didn't want anybody else to see me. Um, in that time, I moved out on my own, and it's interesting because I live on a block with I live on a dead end street, and I didn't really even introduce myself to my neighbors until last year, and I've been here for 9 years. And if you know me well, you know how very uncharacteristic that is of me. I mean, I'll talk to anybody in the grocery store. So the fact that I was living in this new place on my own for the first time in my life, with my son, and I didn't even know anybody on this block. Like, and it wasn't about me being a bitch, which I'm sure I can't even imagine what they've thought about who I was. But I didn't want them to know me. Like, I didn't know who I was. So, like, I didn't want to meet anybody new and for them to think that was me. So I just like put my head down and I just came and went. And like every once in a while, there was these people that would, really always try to make an effort. But like I said, like I didn't want them to know me. I didn't want anybody to see me. I just wanted to like be in my apartment and I didn't want to leave it. And it was really bad. And on top of that, to make matters even more complicated, my day job that I have is a corporate America job. I work from home. So as wonderful as so many people think that is, it's also incredibly isolating, especially for somebody that's suffering from PTSD, anxiety, and depression. To work from home or have the ability to work from home and not have to get even out of bed if I didn't want to. Certainly didn't have to put on clothes or makeup or wash my hair. Not really a great environment for me to climb out of. And to complicate matters even more, the longer I was with my company, the more experience I got, the more challenges you get, right? So I started to support some really giant pharmaceutical clients. And if anyone has worked with pharmas, you know how incredibly intense that environment is. And it just doesn't align with the way I think or live or work. But it was my responsibility, and I'm a Capricorn and I do everything balls to the wall awesome, or as awesome as I can. So I had to still try and do my best in this situation where I had incredible internal conflict. And that didn't go so well. And my anxiety levels, it was a whole nother level of anxiety. It had nothing to do with the accident, it had nothing to do with the weight gain. Well, of course, they all had pieces to do with everything, but that wasn't what took me over the edge. It was the pressure of the demands of supporting this type of client that broke me. And my anxiety levels got so high that I felt physical pain from it. I did not think I could feel physical pain from something that was not a physical injury, but here I was. And for a year, a solid year, I fought this and I tried to figure it out, and I just fell apart. I wasn't sleeping. I could not function. I would like legit, hang on one second. I love to take baths. If you know me well, you know that I've cherished my baths, especially my salt baths. I take them all the time. Really big into detoxing energetically. So anyway, I would take baths when my son was here, and I would be in the bath for like 3 hours straight, 3 hours straight. And people would be like my friends that would know, because I would just be honest about it. They'd be like, "How do you do that?" But what they didn't realize is, well, of course I could easily get sidetracked because I do love to zone out, but I would just cry in there. It was the only place in my apartment that my son wouldn't hear me cry. And I cried all of the time. And things got so bad that I couldn't endure this for one more minute. And I looked up at God and I just said, if I've done enough for you, please take me now. And I said that, and immediately this calm came over me. And I picked up my phone, like as if it wasn't even me doing this, and I called my general practitioner, who like has nothing to do with any of these doctors I see, right? And I just told her what was happening. And I said, this is where I'm at. And she just said, okay, I need you to come see me. Can you drive? And I don't know how or why I felt that I could, but I did. There was no one else here to do that for me. And I didn't want to reach out to anybody. So I just trusted that I would get there. And I went there, and she wrote me out on medical leave, or at least started the process. And I took a really, really big pay cut. So now I was in this place where I was just obese and miserable and souped up on so many different pharmaceuticals, even though I've been asking and begging my doctors to take me off of them. They wouldn't budge. They had me completely convinced I needed this. And I wasn't living the life at all that I wanted to be living. And I broke. I hit my bottom, and I was like, I've got to figure this out. I've got to just take matters into my own hands, and I got to see what I can do here. And so I agreed to go out on medical leave. I didn't know how I was going to be able to afford to do that. But I did. And I didn't know who to trust anymore. So I didn't trust doctors. I didn't really trust anybody in the medical profession. And I had, been watching, from afar, a girl I went to high school with, Carolyn Caputo, who was a life coach, and I was always very aligned with the things she would post. It was a very different way of thinking for me, but she would post things and they would resonate with me, and I always wanted to invest in it, but I a single mom, and it's really hard to invest money in yourself ever. And something like a life coach, is a decent investment of finances. However, well worth every penny. So I just said, you know what? I just got to do it, and I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but I'm going to figure it out, because I don't know where else to go right now. And so not many people agreed with my approach. But I just trusted. I prayed to God, and I said, I need you to guide me on this every single day. And I'm not going to rush anything. I'm not going to force anything. I'm going to let you show me where I need to go. And I'm going to do my best to block out the noise. And that's what I did. And that led me to Carolyn, and I worked with her. And that's when I really started like understanding the whole mind, body, and spirit stuff that Sandra and I, wow, I'm really circling it back now, uh, talked about and started studying. And it was time to start putting it into practice. And that's like a really big thing in any journey, is taking action, right? You can study and you can read and you can have all the information you need. I love information. It's like it's such a roadblock for me because I just can't get enough of it. So you can get all this information, but until you actually start applying it every single day, it's not going to do anything. So I had to start doing that. I had no choice. I had 3 months to figure this out. I had a 3 month leave from work. I had to figure it out. And so I did this. And I started working on confronting all the shit, all the challenges, all the struggle from the whole experience. But what you realize when you start digging into this stuff is you have a lot of other shit you have to deal with too. And that's okay. It's fine, you know. But it's better to deal with it. So what started happening was the more I started dealing with this, and giving myself attention, I was just guided to more and more things. So then I was guided to the Center for Pranic Healing, which is another form of energy healing similar to Reiki. And I was guided to the center, which, you know, wasn't that far from my house. And I started learning about more about meditation and applying meditation and energy healing. And again, opened up a whole nother world to me. I'm like, wow, this is so unlike anything I've learned before, but this makes sense to me, and I actually feel really good, and I'm starting to feel better about myself. And so I'm sorry. I actually remember I told you that I first wrote this all out. I have a blog post. It's like freaking 3 pages long, and I totally forgot where I am in the story. So I'm actually gonna try to find it in here just to bring me back. I know it's this paragraph right here. So just give me a second. Okay. No, I said all that. Oh, good. Oh, good. So look, we're getting better. Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't tell you such a good part. Okay. You know what? Maybe I'm going to have to just tell you that another time. So I'm on this journey, and like I said, I've got to go. I'm not picking my nose. I have a nose ring, if you could see it there, and it flips all the time. And I always feel like people think I'm picking my nose, but I just need to flip it up because I don't like when it hangs down. So anyway, as I started doing this, and as I started releasing all of this stuff I was holding on to, the weight just kind of started to come off. And I say it reserved like that because I just feel like I got lucky. But something that I learned on this journey is that so much of the physical weight we carry is just a physical manifestation of the energy that we're carrying. So all the shit, all the negative emotions, all the things you've experienced in life, going way back, arguments, fights, all of that stuff, if you're not releasing it, if you're not confronting it and releasing it, or choosing to just let it go, you're holding on to all of that, and that can physically manifest into weight. So when I started taking this path and I started pursuing this whole mindfulness and being aware and conscious thinking and meditating and energy healing, and I started doing all of this, and the weight just started to come off. And I really didn't make all that much physical changes until last year. And you know, so I kind of just feel like I got really lucky with it, but it worked and it made sense to me. And I felt so much better, obviously, but I still had so far to go. So last year, I finally started to like really say, okay, listen, yeah, this is great. You've lost, you know, a decent amount of weight on your own through doing these unconventional things, but you're still a decent amount of ways from where you were before this accident and where you actually ideally want to be. So like, you need to start like you need to kick it up a notch. You need to make some physical changes. Like, you've got to start taking care of your health. And so, um, there was this girl that I went to college with, Kristen Simmons, now Kristen Driscoll, and she was a Beachbody coach, and she would post about her journey, and I just would watch her and be like, I can't even believe she does this. Like, she's posting videos of the workouts, and I'm like, no way would I ever freaking do one of these things. Um, but I watched her evolve, and I watched how she changed from day one to, gosh, I reached out. She started in March, and we didn't connect until August. Um, and I don't remember if she reached out to me or I reached out to her or how the conversation happened, but we connected, and I was willing to listen. I'm always willing to listen. It might take me a really long time to make a decision or take action, but I'll always listen. I'm very open-minded from that perspective. I'll at least hear you out. And so I listened. And so I ordered Shakeology. I became a discount coach, just so I could get the discount. I'm not going to be a Beachbody coach, right? But so uh, so I started drinking Shakeology, and I tried to do the 21-day fix workout, and I could not move. Like, after day two, I I was in so much pain. I was like, F this. I feel so terrible about myself doing this, or I should say the fact that I can't do this without feeling this way. And I knew I felt this way, and like, I didn't even do the workout like anywhere near the way it needed to be done. So I was just like, to me, at that point in time where I was in my journey, it was defeating for me. And what I've learned in this is that you can't rush your healing. You have to let it unfold as it's going to unfold. So instead of getting down on myself, I said, okay, I'm not ready for this workout part yet, but I still believe in this, and I still know I need to make changes, and I know I do need to get to that place, so I'm not going to fully give up, but let me see what changes I can make. And so one of the things, that they promote is drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. So I started doing that. And I wasn't completely consistent with taking my Shakeology, but I did start to have it much more often. And I just started feeling better. I wasn't doing the workouts. I was not following the eating program either. Yeah, such a great endorsement here, right? I wasn't doing that either, but I was more conscious of what I was eating. And this will be something I'll talk about another time, but I have a really big struggle with food. Not much food agrees with me, so I don't really eat a lot, though I have no problems eating chocolate or like bad things. They make me feel bad, but I'll still eat them. But like I said, I was just trying to be more conscious. So I was, more aware of shopping organically. Trader Joe's is like my favorite place on earth. And like I said, I just started making better choices. I didn't cut everything out. I didn't force myself into a box yet. I just started getting used to making my body and my health a priority. And so I did this, and, we kind of just, went on and off. And then, I didn't renew my Shakeology, and I just was like, I don't even know. Life got in the way, whatever. There's always like 1,000 excuses, right? So anyway, this winter, uh, Kristen happened to post that she was going to be talking about the business opportunity in Beachbody on some page. And to be quite honest, I didn't really have my first piqued interest in wanting to see it was literally just to support her. Just like, hey, you're doing a video, and that's awesome that you're being brave to do this. Like, can you let me in on that so I can watch it and just support you? And, there was a little part in the back of my head that was like, well, maybe, I'm still in that job and I still support those pharmaceutical clients. So the internal conflict isn't gone. In fact, it's it's quite changing a lot right now. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But I was like, all right, let me just listen and see what this is. And so I got in, and then I saw Keith Callahan, and he did a video, and like I was sold in like freaking like seconds. I was like, yes, yes, this is a no-brainer for me. And it's been slow moving. That was 6 weeks ago, and this is the first time you're hearing about it. As I tell Kristen, like, please be patient with me. I know I move very slowly in the beginning. I see the full potential in something. And when I do, like, I have to figure it out. I have to visually be able to see how I can get to where I need to get to and what I need to do to accomplish the things I want to accomplish. So, how I'm going to tie this back to my journey is that something I learned with this company, which is so amazing. I'm literally in awe of this company every single day. But they get the mind, body, and spirit thing. And I didn't know that anyone like at that magnitude got that. And like, it's everything. I mean, Sandra and I have been busting our butt trying to get the message out there, but it's hard when you have two people that are just trying to do that. But here's this company now that I'm training to be a coach, and I'm training to complete a friggin' program because I haven't done that yet, and that's where I'm hoping you guys will help me. Like, they get how important all of that is, and that's everything I've been doing for the last X amount of years, and I'm just starting to shift my focus to body. And like, I mean, that's their bread and butter, right? That's what they know. That's what they know. So that's what I'm going to do. And so since I've made this decision to do this, I realize that I can get my message about the mind, body, spirit balance and these other ways of approaching life and becoming happy within, and teaching people how they can be the best, very best version that you can be, because you can be, you should be, we should want to be, because it's possible. Honestly, anything and everything is possible. And I'll get into all of that another time too. Kind of so much to say. So anyway, I'm so inspired. I I I I can't even stop. I don't, I can't even, I'm going to show you this right now. I'm so confused with the way this goes. No, this way. All right, you can't see that here. Here's a giant board calendar that I put together that I just started writing, like everything I need to do, all my ideas. I have so many notes. Over here, look at, I've created my own branded information here. Oh, look, there's my coach. There's Kristen. See, there she is. I told her that she is my inspiration photo. So anyway, I just can't stop with this. I'm so excited, and I haven't even started yet. But I just know, I know what this can be. I know that not only is this going to get me where I need to get to, but I'm going to be able to get you where you need to get to. And you know, the way I post on Facebook, like, I just want to light the fire inside of you, and I want you to find that light within you and just shine, just be everything that you can be. And to do that, you have to take care of all of these things. We don't like working out, we don't like eating right, but we have to. Like, it is essential. I have to date, including what I did prior, and then my time that I've been, loosely following the Beachbody program, I have lost 60 pounds as of last week or the week before, which is awesome. So awesome. I feel so great. But I still have 20 more pounds to get to pre-accident weight. And then, and I'm not stopping there because I wasn't feeling great at that point in time. So I need to go beyond that. And I know that this is going to get me there. And so I'm really hoping that I'll have some people that'll be brave enough out there that'll want to join this journey with me. Accountability and consistency is everything. And I've put together an interesting shell of how I'm going to try to tie all of the things I've learned into this fitness journey to keep me going and inspired every single day. And I'll share all of that with you, what I'm looking to do. But the biggest thing is that I need help. I need help. I'm so afraid of doing this because I've started so many things and not seen them through when it comes to my physical fitness and eating right and well. And so I think that the biggest fear I've allowed to paralyze me in this process of putting this freaking video out here, if anyone's even still watching, God bless you, because I've been talking for a really freaking long time. But I don't even know where I was going with that whole thought. It's 2:04 in the morning right now. And like I've got a big day tomorrow in a couple hours. Um but anyway, I need your help to do this. I need support. I need people that are willing to jump on this and say, you know what, I'm ready to make changes in my life, and I'm willing to at least listen to what you have to say. And you don't have to be into meditation or energy or any of that. We could totally focus on your fitness journey and your nutrition, as I'm focusing on those things myself. And I'm sure with the things I have planned to be posting on a regular basis, there will be things that will intrigue you and you're going to want to learn about it. But I'm not going to force any of that on you. So please don't feel you need to be spiritual or religious in any way. I just really want to help you. I want to help you be better while I do everything I can to be better. So I guess that's it for now. You'll be seeing a lot more of me on video and posting. I'm trying to get more comfortable with sharing personal information out there. So please be kind. But reach out to me. Reach out to me if you're interested in learning more about what I'm doing and what I'm planning on doing. I'll be posting details about what I'm going to do as well. Again, if you made it through this, God bless you. Thank you so much. If you didn't, I don't blame you. I never would watch a video this long. Like after 5 minutes, like I'm already starting to look at the sparkly thing over here. So anyway, thank you so much. Have a super fantastic today. It is Transformation Tuesday, and we've all transformed in some way. And one thing I've learned along this journey is you do have to celebrate every victory you have, everything you've accomplished, everything you've achieved. So even if you don't want to post about it, just take some time to yourself today and be like, you know what? How have I grown? How have I changed? How have I transformed? And, give yourself a little pat on the back for that. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.